Aloha, and welcome again to the Believer's Journey. I want to thank everyone who supports our ministry, who prays for us, who watches our program, who shares our program, all of you who make comments and ask questions. We just really love the fact that you are part of our ministry, you partner with us. I also want to thank our sponsors, Guerrero CPA, Guerrero Law, and the trade show displays. So anyway, I'm going to continue with our programs that we've been doing on words from the Bible, scriptures, and we're going to go into the Old Testament today and talk a little bit about Hebrew word. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so what we have here is a word that I believe is a Hebrew word. Okay, so there's a key word that is used in the Hebrew scriptures, and it's fundamental to the development of creation or the creation story. All right. So the Hebrew word is yom, Y-O-M. And it's really important to understand this word because this word has created a lot of division in especially in a Christian community, but in a lot of believers, there's a lot of diversity and animosity, name calling. It's just really been bad. But I want to develop this so you understand why it's important to understand this word and why it's important to understand the creation story using this word. Okay. So yom is translated to the word day. Okay. So when we say day, the first day, the other day, the day, time, whatever it is, we have the word yom. Okay, it is written in the Old Testament about 2,300 times. Okay, and yom literally means day. Okay, it's important to understand that. So, even though yom is translated to the English word day, yom can be used in several different ways, okay? And we're going to go through those ways and kind of talk about it, explain it, and see if we can find some coming together through the diversity that we all pick and choose here, okay? It's really important. First off, yom can mean daytime, as the time from sunrise to sunset, or the daylight. Um, so if I were to say that I'm going to, during the day tomorrow, I'm going to go run some errands, well, it's during the day, we're going to be talking about while it's daylight. And so that word yom would be appropriate to use in that time frame or in that verbiage. Okay. A day can be used as in a 24-hour period of time, like tomorrow is, Thursday. So tomorrow day, we're going to, do something all day long, or like Sabbath is a day, it's 24-hour period of time. So we understand that. In the creation story, a lot of people believe that the day, when it says, what morning came in the evening and it was the first day or second day, a lot of people translate that to a 24-hour day. Okay, so that's why we need to understand that. Okay, thirdly, it can mean a period in time, such as the day of the Lord. Or if I were to say back in my grandfather's day, okay, we're looking at a time frame here, not necessarily, a period of time like 24 hours or daylight like the other two definitions, but we're talking about a period of time in this case. And finally, it's a long period or unspecified period of time. Like there are some people believe in the creation story when it says, the first day, second day, and so forth, it doesn't necessarily mean a 24-hour period of time, but it might mean a long period of time because this same word, yom, for all these situations. So how people define this and translate it is how they come up with their idea whether we have a long earth or a short earth. We have long period of days or we have a short period of days. So these are the different ideas of what the word yom means and the different meanings we have when we use the word yom. And in scripture, you can find whether it be in Genesis or Daniel or different books, you'll see the word day used, and it actually, you can see the different meanings of that day, of that word yom, for the purpose it's using, which could mean a long period of time, or it could be sunrise to sunset during the daytime. Could, so we have to understand it has all these meanings, yet it's still one word, yom, in Hebrew language. So what I want to do now is I want to talk about the creation story. Now, this is going to be a long lesson here. It's going to be pretty short because I'm just going to concise everything. So in the creation story, the Hebrew word for day is yom. I've already said this. And so that's what we have. Every time it says day, the first day, the second day, and so forth, is this one word, yom. Okay. Now, there are two groups that are at odds with each other. One group believes we have the young earth where we have 24-hour days and for 6 days. And in the second group believes that they have long periods of time, long days, which could mean it could be 1,000,000 years, it could be 1,000 years, it could be 1 billion years. We don't know. It's just a time frame of a long, unspecified period of time. So you have these two groups here that believe different things. Now, on both sides, they all have reputable scholars on both sides of these issues. So it's not like we have scholars on one end and a bunch of fanatics on the other. We really do have reputable scholars on both ends. I actually sat under and studied under a professor. I read his books, Dr. Walter Kaiser Jr. He's probably one of the most renowned Hebrew scholars of our time, our day. And he actually believes it's a long period of time, okay? Long days, long years. And he goes to explain that, using scripture. And that's one scholar that believes in the long period. There are some who believe in the young period, young days of 24-hour days. So you have to understand we have this separation. What I'm bothered about is that the separation is causing division in the believers in the church. And we need to learn not to cause friction or division in the church. It's not about that. It's about coming together and strengthening one another and building each other up so we can build and honor Jesus. Okay. And that's really important. We understand that. Okay. And fourth, both sides have good scriptural references. You can literally go to one side on the young earth and find all the scriptures that they can argue with that bring up the idea that it's 24-hour days. You can literally go to the other side where there are scripture references that show people it could be long period of days. Okay, so we have scriptures on both sides, and we have scholars on both sides. So why the problem is that we get settled in with what we believe, what we think, and then we want to discount others. I've heard people in debates, I've heard one side literally stand up and call the other side heretics. Now, this is uncalled for. This is ridiculous. We shouldn't be doing that to each other as believers. There are people through centuries, people who decided as a magistrate of a city that if you didn't believe in their theology, they were going to take you to court and try you. And if you're found guilty, you were to be put to death or tortured until you believed. And if you didn't believe, they would jail you forever or they would put you to death. And this is uncalled for. This kind of lifestyle is terrible. It's not what Jesus, or in the Old Testament, it's not what the believers were supposed to be like, of God. So I think it's really important we understand that. So let's go to the next area here, the meaning of the creation story. See, the problem I think we have is too many people think that the idea here of creation is the fact that it was created in 6 24-hour days or 6 long period days. And we all want to stick on the idea of the length of time. And I do not think that is the meaning of the creation story at all. I mean, one thing that's kind of nice is that when you take the creation story from the Bible and you go from day 1 to day 6 and the progression of each thing that was created, and you go to and listen to the scientists today, they'll tell you how they believe that the earth was created and how things were done from one segment to the next, which follows in the same suit the Bible teaches, as you have the ocean and the fish and the crawling things in the earth and so forth. It goes in the same area. So the scientists that are, even though they're not biblical scientists, there might be secular, still agree, or they'll have agreement with how the Bible puts it. So it works hand in hand. So I think we need to get away from the idea of time here, because I don't think that this is God's idea that we stick there. I think he has a larger plan involved. And I think if you look through scripture, all through scripture, it's not about those insignificant details. It's all about him. How are we going to honor him? How do we look at him and recognize that he is the creator? He is the Lord of all things. He is the ruler of the universe. And that's what we need to look. So in looking at the meaning of the creation story, the first off, it's not about the length of days. Okay, we need to get off the idea that it's 24-hour days. We need to get off the idea that it's a long period of days. Stop arguing about that. If you believe one and not the other, it's okay. It's not the issue. It's not what I think is the meaning of creation. Next thing, it's to teach us that God is the designer. Okay, this is what it is teaching us. Okay, next thing, it's to teach us that God is the producer. He is the one that produces the whole idea of creation and what we have, what we see in what we have in the universe and the earth and so forth. And next thing is, it's to teach us that God is the director. He's the one that orchestrates it all. Okay. Notice this, the meaning of creation. When we take away the argument of how long the days are, and we look at what we're looking at here, the days don't matter anymore, because it's all about God. It's all about his creation. It's all about the fact that he has done it all. So basically, it's that it teaches us that God, and only God, is in fact the creator, the only creator. That, I believe, is what the creation story is trying to teach us. And if we understand this, no matter what side you follow, whether you believe in a short period of time, a young earth or an old earth, we can all come to the agreement that God is a designer. He is the producer. He is the director. He is the one that created all things. If we come to that agreement, it doesn't matter on one side or the other. And then we can accept one another, and we can build the church. We can honor Jesus in all things that he means it to be, so that we can honor him. We need to be strengthened as a church of Christ, not divided. And we can divide each other by looking at these insignificant areas, or we can strengthen each other by looking at what is really important here. And what is important is that God is the creator. And that's what my message to you is today. So we look at Yom. It means day, as in 24-hour day. It means daytime, as in the daylight. And it also means a long period of time, something that's not specified. And it could be 10 years, 1,000 years, 1,000,000 years. It doesn't matter. It's just unspecified period of time. Okay. So there you go for the word Yom. And I think that's important we understand that. Read the creation story and see what I'm talking about. In fact, one of the scholars that I have read says that the 24-hour period day actually begins on the fourth day. And there's something for you to look at and research. That's kind of interesting. But I really am trying to help people understand that we need to become more like Jesus. Jesus is the foundation of our belief system. And in that, we are called to love one another. He says to give a new commandment, love one another as he loves us. And if we do that, we'll understand that the whole teaching in the scripture isn't to divide us. It is to bring us together, to unify us, strengthen us, so that we can honor one another and ultimately honor Jesus in all things. Okay? Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful day. You have a wonderful week. Aloha.